We'll call the Williams County Board of County Commissioners meeting for October 21st to order. Beth, please take roll.
Barry,
Here.
Steve,
Here.
Bo,
Here.
Chris.
Here.
Got a quorum, we'll proceed. If everybody please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, item C, consent agenda. What are the wishes?
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Okay, item D, public comment. Think we're good to move. Item E, report from the departments, and I see there's an assessor one, but I don't see an assessor. Let's jump over that one. Beth, why don't we go ahead and go with you?
What I have today for you commissioners is to prove a repurchase from a Jeffrey Nelson. He's repurchasing a parcel in Wheelock Township and Wheelock OT. And then the next one I have is the city of Ray is purchasing a parcel in Ray that has specials against it. And then I have a parcel in Granora that they're purchasing that has specials on that too.
Okay, can we wrap those all into one, or do we do them separate? How do you want them done?
You can do them all in one. You can just make a motion to approve the repurchase and the deeds.
I'd move to approve the purchase or the repurchase and those deeds on those three properties.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Motion carried. Number 3 is NDSU extension out-of-state travel request.
We have to get approval to attend our through the state to attend any functions. But I'm the Western Area Delegate for the NAE 4-HYDP, which is the National Association of Extension 4-H Youth Development Professionals. And I usually attend the national conference every year, so I've attended for 3 years. And I didn't know till I got back last year that I needed to get approval from you, so I apologize. That's my fault for that process. So I'm just requesting permission to or approval to attend next week to Georgia for our national conference as our Western Area Delegate.
Is there any questions? What are the wishes?
Make a motion to approve that travel request.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? It was even painless. Roll call, please.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll jump back up to number 1, the assessors.
Sorry for being late, guys. Good morning, commissioners. Leah Dunn with the assessor's office. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you today. As we know, House Bill 1176, which was passed during the 2025 legislative session, mandates that the Director of Tax Equalization, in conjunction with the governing body, develops a schedule of modifiers to be used to adjust agricultural property assessments. Long before I was here, but in the last 10 years in my assessment office, we have used the list of modifiers that you have in your packet. I reviewed the master list of modifiers from the state of North Dakota and feel confident that we are using the ones that apply to Western North Dakota the most. In addition, a county can establish eligibility requirements for each, which you can see on the list in your packet. The final step to comply with 1176 is for a motion from this board to approve these for our official modifiers and the eligibility requirements.
Okay, do we have any questions for Leah? Come on, somebody's got to have a question. She was a minute late. We got to. Okay, no questions. What are the wishes?
Make a motion to approve this list of agricultural land modifiers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, this is if I want to dispute that the taxable value on some of my property is too high because it's underwater or whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you were to come in and tell us, there's now an application process that you would fill out and submit to us, and we would make sure that it matches all of those classifications. At the end of the day, though, if we aren't sure, I'm going to bring it to you guys and ask you guys to clarify for me.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, we have a motion and a second. Can you take roll, please?
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Sorry for being late.
You're fine. Jeremy, you're up.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeremy Ludlum, Parks Director. This is a little different. I know we'll be visiting here in another half hour or so, but just I thought I'd touch base on a couple different things that I typically don't. One thing I want to start with is staffing. You know, I've been really fortunate so far as staffing, as far as having some guys that have returned now. I think I have one guy who's been here. Well, one guy was the first guy I hired in 2020, and he's come back every season. And then another guy I hired in 2021, and both of them have been here full, you know, starting March, end of November, and they've been very loyal and really good. I did hire another guy who's retired and spends his winters in Arizona this last year. So I do have three kind of guys that are near retirement age, kind of a retirement job, or you know, seasonal job, and they're loyal and consistent and great. I've been really successful to get the college kids I need, but I'm finding that it seems more and more they're leaving earlier and earlier, and more we have more and more work to do in August. You know, those kids want to get to college, get back, do their thing. I'm fortunate. I've every college kid I've ever gotten has stayed at least 2 years. I've got two guys that'll come back next year. That'll be their third year. But again, I really, the struggle for me is I got to figure out a better piece in August and September. Um, so that's going to kind of be my mission going forward. Feel great going into next season. You know, I already got 5 guys that I know, barring something crazy happening. I got 5 guys that I know that'll be back, and that's great. My only piece is that August September piece where I need to get a little more manpower and figure out something there, because we get thin kind of right when it's time to start doing projects. You know, most of the time June especially is mowing, right? We mow. This year was a little different. But typically once we get into July, past the 4th of July, camping's kind of figured itself out. We kind of got caught up on mowing, and now we kind of can start doing projects, but I lose those strong backs. You know, those old guys are smart and resourceful, and their knowledge is, you know, valuable, but they don't have those strong backs. So that's my one issue I have with staffing. I need to figure out a better thing for the end of the summer. At least try to figure out something so I can get a little more manpower there. So the other things I want to do is I just want to talk a little bit about real quick about where we are with our master plan at each park. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Lookout Park is 99.9% done. We have to put a secure box around the irrigation system. The only thing left to do. The park will be closed out. Coteray Dam. We really that July, that summer rain really kind of messed with our landscaping, and we've been struggling with um, drainage and I'm drawing a blank. Erosion. There we go. Struggling with erosion. Yeah, big words, big words. So a couple places where it's steep, specifically on the biggest issue we have is on the north side. On the north side, the loop that goes around to get to where we put the stage and get down to the boat or to the dock there. Um, that road on the south side, it's a steep hill. The parking lot's right there. A lot of the water comes to the parking lot, and the plan was, the thought was that the grass would grow in and it would really, slow down that water. But with all that rain, we just never got the grass to take, and so we're kind of fighting that battle right now. Other than that, once we get that figured out, and a couple little things like some trees died, and our trees are guaranteed for a year, and a couple other things. Other than that, that erosion issue we got to figure out. Other than that, Lookout Park Coteray Dam will be done. Blacktail, the weather has been extremely generous to us this fall. If you go up there right now, it looks like a campground. That main area, it looks like, other than grass, it looks like you could pull up your RV and park it today. It looks awesome. The main part of the campground. They're working on the group campground right now, and it's like they're putting final layer of paving on. We were hoping to get to the group site done this year, and it's no doubt. They're gonna get there. Trails look amazing at Blacktail. It is. I spend quite a bit of time hiking, and we go down to the North Unit a lot, and we go to the state park. And other than paved trails, we have paved trails in town, and there's some paved trails around. But other than that, in our northwest corner of the state here, there's not a lot of more nature trails, right? Non-paved. There's, like I said, there's the North Unit, there's the state park, and that's about it. But when you go out to Blacktail now, it's nice. Those trails are going to be well used and really, really nice. So anyways, we're right on schedule for this year. Gonna finish up what they're doing, and then we still will be coming back to you here in the next couple months to talk a little bit more about that community building at Blacktail and where we're going with that. And then next year they're gonna do the beach, do the sites at the beach. That's a smaller project. They'll get that wrapped up right away. We're meeting this week me and our team is meeting to go through our latest plans for both Epping, Springbrook Dam, and Little Egypt. Our goal is that we start Epping next year and Little Egypt in 27, and then shortly we'll be working on McGregor too, and we're going to try to do that, get going on that next year. If not, McGregor will be 27. But really like to get that done next year. Budget wise, we're tracking right on line with what we have right now. If everything went as we expected and everything done, we'd come in at about 32 million. Would leave us just 32 million and change. So we'd have 2 million. We come in 2 million and change under what we're doing. I still think there's some room there. We have a pretty big number at Little Egypt. As we work through the process of what we want to do there, it's really a balance for me. I want to put really neat, fun stuff in there, but man, the beach is neat and fun. Nature is neat and fun. So I don't want to overdo it. I just want to make it nice. So I think there's a little bit of money we can maybe save a little bit there, moving forward. And same thing with McGregor. We got to make some decisions. Right now we're budgeted for over $2 million there. We need to put a restroom with running water, and those aren't cheap. So there's going to be an expense there. But everything else is the same thing. McGregor's a nice little park. Nature's okay. We need to make it nice and clean and minimize maintenance. But I think there's some money savings from what we originally had budgeted there. So I feel good about where we're going financially on the master plan. And then the one other thing is just in general, our parks consistently year after year, we've shown increased usage of our parks I started in 2020. So I've had 6 summers here, and over our 6 summers, we've averaged greater than 10% improvement from the year, or 10% improvement in numbers of campers from the year before, or excuse me, from finances from the year before, not necessarily number of campers. Increased every year, almost up to, on average over 10%. So camping since I've been here has been great. We keep moving in the right direction. one of the best things we've done, and it's taken a while and get it going. But that online reservation system really saw a difference this year with kind of got everyone to figure it out. Didn't have the issues we have where people show up and drop their camper and leave. I mean, it still happens, still had some, but not anywhere near we have in the past. And that'll just continue to improve with as we make these improvements to our parks, because signage will be better. Everything it just makes sense and works. So that has gone really well. One of the things I'm really grateful that we've done since we started. And otherwise, just looking to kind of, now that we've got some new amenities, really looking at moving forward, what else can we do as more like special events. We know we have those trails at Blacktail. I mean, we want to do some runs, some different events, whether that's a 5K. I know we have turkey trots around town, so maybe not that, but some type of events out there, and just looking at what other special events we can do. Not trying to turn into a parks and recreation department, but I still think we can do some events, special events that can get people out using our facilities. We have the ice fishing derby coming up here in February. We haven't decided on a location yet. I'm excited to work with the United Sportsmen again. We're just not sure. Blacktail Coteray was great the first couple years. In my opinion, it's the best little lake around to catch fish, especially for kids. There's just fish there and they catch them. Blacktail Dam has been great the last couple years because we've been able to be inside and have a place where we can go inside. With us in between the fire hall and the new community building, that's not an option at Blacktail this year. So we're maybe looking at what our other options are and what we want to do. Might be a nice time, because we don't have that inside building at Blacktail, to try somewhere else. I've floated the idea of maybe doing it at Epping Springbrook Dam, just because we haven't and it's close to town, and get people out to a different park. But yeah, continue to look at those opportunities for us to do special events, community events that can get people out using our parks. Other than that, if there's any questions anyone has, I'll wait and come back and visit with you in about 20 minutes.
Anybody got any questions for Jeremy? Keep it up. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thanks, guys.
Is there any other department heads that need to talk to the board? No, I see everybody running to the podium. Helen, it's time for you to come on down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
Is this a good spot to bring up Christmas Eve?
I'm gonna talk about calendars.
Okay, perfect.
We can start there since the chairman led me into it.
I was going to say, no, it's not Thanksgiving yet.
Well, the Christmas decorations are out, Bo. All right, so this is the time of year in which we set next year's regular meeting schedule. So North Dakota Century Code says public boards and committees need to set a regular meeting schedule, obviously, so that our auditor can publicize that so the public can attend if they would like. So we set that this time of year because then you see this master calendar that you have in front of you. We give this to employees during the month of November when we're doing open enrollment. So we incorporate your schedule into the schedule that shows our holidays and our payroll dates. And for 26, you'll see that I added election days because that was something we didn't have in 24 and turned out we thought would be useful. Now, before we go to 26, I'd like to talk about 25 quickly. As a reminder, one of the things that we include in our regular meeting schedule are our budget workshops. And so those are those times where we have meetings in a separate meeting room, but it is a meeting of the commission. There are minutes, there could be motions and actions out of those meetings. We include those on the regular meeting schedule just so that the public has plenty of notice for when those meetings would be. So in our old accounting method, remember there's this cash basis versus accrual change that we're under. We used to need to have a meeting at the end of December to approve the final bills. So for 2025, we still have a meeting scheduled for December 30th. But Now that we're in the new cycle, what we've realized is that end of year approvals piece needs to happen actually in March. But we also have determined that we need to or would like to have a meeting in early December where this board could do sort of a final review of where we're at and make some final decisions about road projects for the upcoming year. Last year, or this year, I guess, we had a meeting in January, and our determination was that was a little late for the county highway engineering department to be able to get their final work done and get things out to bid. So my proposal would be, and I did check this with the chairman, I didn't just come up with this. My proposal would be that we would move on our 25 regular meeting schedule, the December 30th meeting to December 11th. That allows for us to have gotten some of our final revenue numbers in for the month of November, and still gives us time for county highway engineering to get some meaningful work done in December toward those bids that would go out in early 26. If you all are agreeable, I think I probably need a separate motion for you to approve a change to your 25 regular meeting schedule, and then we'll go on to 26.
Okay, well, what are the wishes?
Would make a motion to approve the change of meeting date from December 30th to December 11th.
I'll second.
Moving to second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, 26. Let's talk about just a few of the details. Of course, we meet the first and third Tuesday of every month. However, there are a couple of things I'll point out here. That system rolls along until March, in which you'll see that we do add a March 26th date. That is that end of year approvals meeting that we need to have. The way that the new accounting practice works is that we have to have 60 days. Then the finance department needs to do a little bit of work once that closeout happens. And so then that budget workshop meeting, again, it's a different format, but it still is an official meeting of you all, would happen March 26th. We roll along, everything is normal until we get to July, where we have our normal mid-year budget workshop meetings on commission day, continue for the rest of the day, and then the Wednesday to follow. We build in the Monday after, just in case we need to come back following maybe you guys giving staff some instruction. We haven't always had that meeting, but we like to have it on the schedule just in case. I would point out that in November, we implement for your consideration something that we talked about in 24, and that was based on election day being November 3rd. Is that correct, Beth? We then move the commission meeting to the Thursday of that week. Everyone around here, it's all hands on deck on the morning of an election, and so it's difficult for us to have staff to run things in the back, for the auditor's office to have staff here. If you all are agreeable to it, we don't like to move our meetings off of Tuesdays, but boy, when it lands this way, we'd like to do that. I would tell you that I actually did a preliminary version of this 26 calendar last year. So when I went to pull it up, I had it there, and I wouldn't have remembered to do this, but I must have done it last year when I realized the confusion that we had, I think, on that Tuesday morning in November. We then add in, mimicking what we're doing this year, that early December workshop. And then the chairman and I did talk about, we have on our schedule that Christmas Eve is a half day. But you'll see that in 26, Christmas Eve ends up to be on a Thursday. And it was my suggestion that maybe we go to a full day holiday for Christmas Eve on Thursday, the 24th of December, 2026, to allow staff to have that 4-day weekend. It's tricky here on Christmas Eve. There's not a lot of public coming in to use the services, of course. They're busy in their holiday preparations. And so we end up with one person in each department holding down the fort until noon when we officially close. Now, of course, we have a whole bunch of people who work on holidays and weekends regardless of whether it's a holiday or not. And so we're always thankful for those folks. If there's snow, they're moving snow past noon or not, depending on the snow situation. And of course, we have law enforcement, dispatchers, even IT, depending on what we have going on, facilities helping out in the parking lots. They're working all the time, no matter what. Any questions about this?
Yeah, we
schedule?
seem to talk about Christmas Eve every year. I would like to put that to bed, maybe. Can we just make it a holiday and then we don't revisit it every year and talk about, make the law enforcement folks feel bad and dispatch people feel bad when we make a special exception? I think we just call it what it is and grin and bear it.
I mean, we certainly wouldn't turn down that suggestion.
It makes perfect sense to me because you're right. We talk about it every year to rub salt in the wound. I see the sheriff back there. So let's just get it done. I agree with you 100%. Would we need to make a separate motion then to do that?
I'd love a separate motion. Then if we ever need to look up what we're doing, we have it in the minutes.
Yeah, I
Commissioner
would
Kemp
move.
is-
Yeah, that we just make Christmas Eve a yearly holiday.
Yeah.
And
December 24th.
December
I'm
24th.
gonna put it in the policy manual as
Is that
December
just in case
24th.
Christmas moves or
I
Well,
know.
hasn't
That's
moved
why I
yet?
paused.
is there a
Terminology.
second before I get too carried away?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I just double checked that November 3rd was election day. I've done it before, but before you approved this calendar, I just wanted to be sure. It feels really early, doesn't it? November 3rd. So, for your consideration, that is correct. I think that's the only unusual thing here on this calendar is that we move that meeting in November. But you understand it's tricky for us. This won't be a presidential year, so it won't be as busy, but it's still communications, community engagement, administrator, auditor's office. We should all be working on the election that morning. And so it's just tough to get fully
And you really
staffed
don't
here.
want the five of us running this ourselves. So we need you guys. Trust me.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the 2026 calendar as submitted to us this morning.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Then I included a copy of the 27 just for your reference. I don't think we need to look at that or approve it now, but just so that you had it in front of you to peruse. All right, the position report, you'll see that we have no open positions that we're asking to have filled. However, we do have on the back side, there is a City of Williston Planning and Zoning position. And so City of Williston, because of its size and having an ETJ, there are folks from out in the ETJ. There are 2 seats, actually. Maybe it's up to 3 now. Anyway, we appoint them. Donna Hanson has been serving in that seat. We didn't have any applications after advertising it for 60 days, and Donna is interested in serving again. And so if you would like to reappoint Donna, we'd be able to fill that seat.
Okay. What are the wishes of the board?
Move to approve Donna Hanson for a term of 11/1/2025 through 10/31/2030.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, the vacation carry forward request report. Our policy says employees have to be down to a maximum number of hours by August 31st in terms of their vacation balance. And This serves to ensure that people are taking time off and taking care of themselves, but it also reduces the liability that we carry on the books for the cash value of that vacation. Because in North Dakota, state law says when they leave our employment, we pay them out at their current hourly rate for all of their vacation balance. It's a state law. We're not making that choice, but we can choose how much vacation we allow an employee to carry forward and how large we allow that liability to grow. So our policy says you got to be down by August 31st, and that department heads can approve a one-time carryover of a balance. And it happens sometimes people are out if somebody's out with a knee replacement in July, they've been out on sick leave, they need to come back and work, they might not be able to get their balance down. Sometimes people have a trip in September. So there are times that it makes sense. But the policy also says that consecutive years of carryover need to be approved by the county commission. We have on this report, the back page, 4 people from the state's attorney's office, all who are seeking permission to carry time for a consecutive year. I will tell you that we can look at this and although we'd love for them to have been able to use it all, the balances that they're carrying are much lower than they used to be. This has been sort of a perpetual need in this department. And so although sometimes we've been disheartened because the balances have been so high, they have to use this carryover amount by December 31st. So it kind of just applies pressure in the next 3 months for people to be off. You'll see that these balances are all fairly low by and large. And so, and lower than they've been for these folks in the past. So feeling good, I think we're making progress here, is my point. This typically comes in September, and honestly, I used to do this work and then it was top of mind. Somebody in the HR department does it now, and I forgot to bring it. And so typically you would see it in September. I'm bringing it in October. So I'd like your permission, a motion to approve the carryover. It can just be the carryover balances as presented on this report. One other thing I would note is that some people choose, because they know that their work-life balance maybe doesn't always allow them to use the vacation that they're accruing. You'll see on the bottom that 14 employees forfeited time. And so there is the option to say, you know, I wasn't able to use it last year. I'm probably not going to be able to pull off using it this year. I'll just forfeit it. And sometimes we have supervisors who apply a little different pressure and say, you have 12 months now to plan the use of your vacation. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to carry it for consecutive years. So there's different things that happen, but looking for approval for these 4, please.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? I guess my only discussion would be, you know, we've talked about possibly adding people in the office that seems to have a lot of carryover. So if we get that opportunity, we have talked about in the past, maybe there's that amount of work that needs to be done and maybe they need more help.
Yeah, we are right now advertising for an assistant state's attorney. We had it filled and then it became open again. We actually had an offer out, thought we had it filled. That person chose not to relocate to our community. And so we continue to work on getting that state's attorney.
I'm sure the amount of applications just clog up the mail room. So
Right.
I
Yeah,
understand that.
unfortunately, as we've said, there's a shortage nationwide, not just even in the Midwest. So
Well, if it happens to come in where there is more than one, don't be afraid to come back to us.
we have on the books 2 approved. So the one we have open and then one in the wings to hopefully fill once we get that one done.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please, Beth.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes. Motion carried.
All right, a couple of things. I think that's all that's on my list. Yeah, but I have a couple more things. I was on vacation last week, and so I didn't get them added. Here I am. Last meeting, I had asked for the chairman to sign a Central Square contract. That is the purchase of equipment. It actually has to do with the Association of Counties. It's really upgrade of electronic equipment. And I said we had to pay for a portion of it because we have a backup and not everybody has a backup dispatch center. What I failed to realize was that our chairman needs to sign the contract for the main dispatch upgrade too. So I'd ask for permission for the chairman to sign that, but I have one more. And we have we could have just done this administratively, but I wanted you all to hear what we have going on right now, just because of the way dispatch was set up previously. We have phone service at dispatch for what we would call administrative lines through the state of North Dakota. And it's just because of the way the dispatch center was set up originally as a non-county, non-city, but sort of third-party group. We'll be able to save almost $1,000 a month in in like line charges to get them switched over into our system. However, we have to buy the phone equipment to allow them to use our system. And so, in addition to having the chairman sign the Central Square contract, I'd also like permission for him to sign off on or it's electronic, so probably we'll have Keith do it. But I want to inform you and get permission to purchase what ends up to be $7,300 worth of equipment to bring them onto our phone system. And then, of course, we won't have that almost $1,000 a month bill into perpetuity. Meraki. It's the thing, Tammy. Oh, Beth told me it's on the consent agenda because I was gone and we didn't know what was going to happen. Great, you guys did that. So then that's okay. We talked about it. I forgot. Okay, so I need permission for the chairman to sign the Central Square contract for the upgrade at the main dispatch center.
Okay, what are the wishes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, I just want to touch base on two things. I sent you all an email this morning when I remembered that I really would like you to weigh in on something. So I don't know if you can all pull up the email I sent you and I will read out loud. So Karen and I are working together to finalize documents related to the purchase of the fairgrounds. And one of the things that we need to finalize along with that is the agreement for the grant that we're going to be giving them as a part of this transaction. So if you see, I included a screenshot of the document that Karen and I have been working on. It's just important to me that this group approves the language and sort of the spirit of what we are working on here. So you see under the budgetary commitment and in the section above this, it says we're buying it and things are happening. And then here we have number 3, each fiscal year beginning in 2026 and ending in 2035, because this is tied to the 1% sales tax. There'll be a grant program to support the Fair Association's activities, events, and entertainment during the annual county fair in and for Williams County. To be eligible for the funds for this grant program, the funds must be used by the Fair Association for the annual county fair solely for activities, events, or entertainment that expand or enhance the quality of life for residents and visitors in Williams County by expanding or enhancing the annual county fair activities, events, or entertainment, or providing new and different activities, events, or entertainment, subject to the terms of the agreement. And so that language in there, that it is new and expanding, enhancing. I just wanted to make sure that I was on track with all of you. That was our intention for this grant program. That those dollars, we would then, the next section says, between October 15th and December 15th of each year, the County Fair Association will provide us one or more applications. So they don't have to have it all together at one time. If they meet with an entertainer on October 20th and they know they want to have them and it's new and it's different, or it's an expanded use of that, whatever it is, they can give us an application. And then if they have another meeting on November 6th with someone, they can give us another application. And we'll work through that in the normal approval process. It will come here in the end, probably be a staff review. It'll come here in the end for all of you. But I just wanted to make sure that Karen and I had encapsulated your intention in this before we start finalizing these documents.
I know we had talked about it a little bit, but I like the idea that it's new and enhanced. I didn't want this to be a, okay, now we found something and it gets funded by this every year. It's to try to make it new and upgrade the fair. So I really like that being in there.
I think part of the idea is it's a finite time period when the sales tax expires. We no longer have a funding source for this. And so we wouldn't want for the Fair Association to rely on this as an operations element because it won't be sustainable for us as far as I
The
can
other
see.
thing that I see that it does, though, the way it looks to me, is this board still has the option if we say, well, it's going to take 2 years to get that thing, whatever it is. I don't have an idea in my head what the thing is, but this board would be able to say, yeah, we can do it again. So gives a little more freedom. So I think it looks really good. Thank you guys for all the work you put into that.
This 200,000 grant, is that in lieu of the 100,000 we give?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, I mean, in all of the discussions that we've had and the financials that we've had to review, if they have a normal fair year, they can cash flow. What they've been doing now, they can cash flow with the revenue that they make. In essence, the money that we were giving them was in large part needed to maintain the site. And so as we take over the responsibility for the site, they should be able to do what they've been doing. Now, it could be worst case scenario, there's a year in which it rains or there's terrible weather. They might come to you in 1 year and say, we need this money because we're not going to be able to do what we'd normally do because we didn't get the revenue we normally got last year. But again, this board will have lots of room to make decisions that make sense. The goal was to make sure the fair is robust and meaningful, but also to make sure we're being responsible with taxpayer money. Okay, so you all feel good about that language?
Any questions on the language, or I don't know that we need a motion, do we? I mean, you're going to bring us the whole document to approve, right?
Yes.
So I guess just general consent saying, yeah, this is the right direction that we want to go is probably good enough.
Yeah, closing is scheduled for next week. And so I would anticipate, Karen
I
and I
got Karen saying no.
Yeah, Karen and I we've had a lot going on to try and get all these agreements done. So let me look and turn around to Karen. I I know. Yeah, so
Helen would like you to come to the mic and say that into the mic so we have it recorded. Because I mean, I don't know that
I'm
everybody
sorry,
heard that.
I was wrong. That's what
I was wrong.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate
Closing is
that.
next week. October is getting away from me.
yeah, we've been rolling through a lot. It feels a little backwards for me to say. I think we'll probably have the Fair Association. We'll get the documents done. We'll have them signed, and we'll bring them to you November 4th. Just because we couldn't get everything turned around and ready for today, but we're doing our best.
when you say other agreements, I'm assuming it's like all the other buildings and those groups and
Well, so what we have for closing next week, really, we feel like finalized is the sale. That's the easiest part of this whole deal. Although I will tell you, we have our survey crew out at the site because we're going to close on all the parcels. Yep. But then we are going to replat the area. We're going to combine. Turns out there's a third little mini parcel. So not to be confusing or drag it out, we're going to replat this just so that it all makes sense. And in that process, we're going to, what's the word? Convey. Yeah, we're going to convey to the city the road because it is dedicated to the public and there's a perpetual easement. There's a lifetime easement. There's a
Public dedication easement right away, whatever you want to call it.
And so instead of owning the road, but having the city really be responsible for it, which is how it exists today, we're going to replat it and the city will actually own the road portion. And so we have that going on. So there's a purchase agreement, Bo, in which we purchase the property. And then there are, yes, going to be lease agreements between us and each of the organizations, which most importantly in the winter, because that's the things that are really happening out there in the winter, is the Bowman's Club with the curling club and then with the Williston Basin Skating Club. So we're working on those, but we're also working on the agreement with the Upper Missouri Valley Fair Association, one of which will say for the month of June, in essence, they have use of these spaces. The more that I have conversations with the Fair Association and with the 4-H group, and I'm going to a 4-H meeting in November, so I'll know a little more their position. It might make sense for us to have a separate agreement with the 4-H folks related to the things that they do, and with the Fair Association for the things that they do. Right now, of course, the Fair Association owns the whole thing, and so it's between the two of them. But in a lot of ways, they operate in separate spaces during the fair, and maybe we can help to simplify kind of everyone's existence out there if we say, here's what you're responsible for and here's what you are. So I'll talk to the 4-H council about that in November, and we'll have a better idea of where we're headed with 4-H. But then there is the racing club. There's the folks down at the outdoor arena. I think there end up to be almost 10 clubs that make use of the space in some way. And so we'll be working on agreements with all of them. And I've been in interpersonal communication with all of them over the last 6 or 8 weeks and will continue to be so. Mhm.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to clarify that I believe that you made a motion before that the chairman could sign the purchase agreement. So the
Yep.
purchase and sale agreement won't come back to the board. It'll just be signed by Corey, as well as the assignment of the leases. And I guess the only other thing that probably he'll sign off on that won't come back is the quitclaim deed, but we won't be signing the quitclaim deed. The Fair Association will. So that the leases will come back, the grant agreement will come back.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think other than that, Corey will be signing them. We'll sign off with them before the closing, really.
This lease assignment just says it's the stopgap that says until we have our leases set up with them, we operate under the leases that exist today. So that lease assignment will be assigned next week. Then we'll work on the leases. Mhm.
Sounds easy. I don't know what's taking so long.
There,
Have you guys got anything else to add?
yeah. Well, there's just a lot of balls that we're
I hear
sort
ya.
of juggling in there, though, to try and get this done.
Yeah.
So
Any other questions?
Just so the street, I mean, the Fair Association owned. I mean, when I say street, is that all the way out to like the Bloomin' Shop area?
Correct. The Fair Association owns that whole length of road, but it's been dedicated to the public in, I guess we won't bury you in details. The road was dedicated to the public, and the city has a long-term maintenance easement for that whole length of road, what we would think that whole neighborhood east to west. And so in the process of doing all of this, the city will be owners of that road, the full length east to west, when this is all done. It's not going to all happen next week, but it will happen by December 1st. They'll own the whole road and the right of way. Instead of having easements, they're just going to own the right of way.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope. It's called the Fairgrounds Road. I mean, it has a number notation, but it's referred to even in some legal documents as the Fairgrounds Road.
That's not the road of shame they keep talking about on Facebook, is it? Oh, okay. Just wondering.
That one's north-south, so you're good. All right. If there's no further business, we're going to get this one shut down. Meeting's adjourned.